Individuals wishing to speak on agenda items must complete a sign-up card prior to the item being introduced. Sign-up cards are available on the table. Individuals wishing to speak on non-agenda items may do so under petitions and requests. No sign-up card is required. Citizens will be given 3 minutes to speak on all agenda items. All sign-up cards and exhibits being submitted to the CRA shall be placed in the box on the table.
The purpose of the City Council meeting is to discuss city business, and proper decorum must be displayed by all in attendance. Public input and participation is encouraged. However, all persons in attendance shall comply with the rules for meeting procedures and shall refrain from any action that disrupts the orderly proceedings of the council meeting or hinders a council from performing its duties. No person shall interfere with the rights of others to speak, hear, see, or attend the proceedings, make threats of violence, disrupt the proceedings with shouting, fail to confine remarks to the agenda item under consideration, nor continue to speak after the allotted speaking time has expired, as these actions shall be considered disruptive and disorderly. The mayor shall caution any person who violates these provisions and disrupts the orderly proceedings of the council meetings, and they shall be directed to comply. Any person who fails to comply, as cautioned, shall be ruled out of order, shall forfeit the remainder of their speaking time on the agenda item under consideration, and will be requested to return to their seat. Persons who fail to comply as directed shall be subject to removal from the council chambers by law enforcement or such other actions as may be reasonably necessary to enforce these regulations. Notwithstanding, the mayor may order the immediate removal of any person from the chambers who possesses a threat to property or life safety. Nothing in this section shall be construed to limit or restrict a person's right created by the Constitution, law, ordinance, or regulation.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Titusville Community Redevelopment Agency regular meeting, August 11th at 5:30. Call this meeting to order. City Attorney, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Thank you very much. We will have a invocation and a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Before we continue on with the approval of minutes and everything else on our agenda, I would like to ask Ms. Hannah to come up to the podium, please. At our last city council meeting, I believe the city council has recently appointed you to serve on our CRA board, and we're very excited to have you. So if you wouldn't mind, please raising your right hand and reading the oath in front of you.
I, Hannah Carnes, do solemnly swear to support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and this state of Florida against all enemies, domestic and foreign, that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same, that I am entitled to hold office under the Constitution, that I will faithfully perform all the duties of office of Community Redevelopment Agency for the City of Titusville, on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Sworn into office this 11th day of August, 2026.
You can join us up here.
Yay.
Member Carnes, the box in front of you, the microphone, if you get that closer to you, you can push the little button and then your light will light up, and that's how I know you want to make a comment. In addition, I'll entertain a motion from you to approve the previous minutes. I'm just kidding, Ms. Hannah. It's all right. All right. Member Nelson.
I was going to suggest that. You just say, move to approve the minutes of whatever date it is.
Move to approve the minutes. Okay. Move to approve the minutes of the regular Community Redevelopment Agency meeting on July 14th, 2026.
Second.
There's a motion by Member Carnes and a second by Vice Chair Cole. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you for making the first motion. And then if you're done, you can turn off your light. Thank you very much. Executive Director.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board, and congratulations to our newest CRA member. We have just one item on the agenda for this evening, and that's under 8A, New Business, and it's a commercial beautification grant application for 1220 South Washington Avenue. And attached for the board's review is an application for a commercial beautification grant from Jasmine Johnson Wells, agent for Green Essence Global LLC, to assist in the renovation of the building located at 1220 South Washington Avenue in the downtown community redevelopment area. The applicant is proposing to renovate the building into a medical marijuana dispensing facility, and the recommended action is to approve the award of a commercial beautification grant in the amount of $49,381.05 to Jasmine Johnson Wells, agent for Green Essence Global, for the property located at 1220 South Washington Avenue in Titusville. And filling in for Sue Williams is Brad Parrish.
I'll briefly go over the application for you on page 11 of your packet. I'll just go through this paragraph here. It says that the project is located at 1220 South Washington Avenue within the Midtown subdistrict of the overall downtown mixed-use zoning district. The property is inside the community redevelopment area. Jasmine Johnson is applying to activate this commercial property as a medical marijuana dispensing facility. The proposed exterior improvements include general repairs, landscaping, sidewalk, curb repairs, irrigation systems, exterior lighting upgrades, new signage, adding a security system, and parking lot improvements with ADA compliant access improvements. All of these items have been reviewed by staff, consistent with the procedures manual for the beautification facade grant. They are eligible expenses in the commercial beautification facade improvement program. The total cost, as already stated, of the low bid for these improvements is $98,000 plus. The total amount of the reimbursement grant is 50% of that total, which is exactly $49,381.95. Funds are available in the CRA building grants for fiscal year 2026 budget to cover over the grant. On page 19 of your packet, you'll see the scope of work. Everything is related to the exterior. If you remember, the CRA has 3 grant programs. One of them is the facade improvement grant program, and that's what's being applied for too. So any of the improvements that are being presented or stated in any of the quotes you see in the attachments that are related to interior improvements are not eligible for this and not being addressed in this particular grant. I know there was some confusion about that. I did speak with the applicant about that. So everything here you see on page 19 is the cost for exterior improvements, including anything that may be related to security improvements that are related to the exterior of the building, qualify. I did leave on your dais, we did not include in the packet the actual procedures for the grant program, but I did leave hard copies on your dais there for you, just excerpts of the procedures manual itself. And it says in section 3, it lists all the eligible expenses. So the expenses identified in the applicant's request are on page 4 of that procedures manual. It's the first page there. And you'll see signage is included in that, stucco work and landscaping and such. On section 4, on the bottom there, it starts a list of what is ineligible. Examples of that is installation of aluminum or vinyl siding. Permitting fees are not eligible. General repairs are not eligible. And then on section 5, you'll see program criteria. So we reviewed the request against that criteria. Staff believes it is consistent with these procedures, and we recommend approval. I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Parrish. Member Moscoso.
Thank you. I think my main issue was with the security. I understand that, I mean, for me, the understanding of the beautification grant is, I feel like this extends beyond that. Because of the type of business, it appears they have to have additional security. And in the application, it does mention indoor security, or at least the systems go together. So I'm kind of struggling to understand how this grant could cover indoor security as well.
It does not cover indoor security. So as you see on page 19, where it talks about exterior security access package for building perimeter visibility, exterior entry coverage, and exterior facing access points. So the costs you see there for those security components are related to the exterior installations only.
But on page 19 as well, under, it says 50% allocation, that part. The second line says backbone infrastructure supporting both exterior and interior.
You'll need those features in there in order for that exterior improvements to occur, yes. The applicant did state to me today when I did speak with them that they will be submitting a request for the interior grant, which is one of the 3 grants that the city has. So they will ask or submit an application for that particular type of grant in the future.
And then I also noticed that they were requesting pressure washing. Is that something we typically do? For me, that just is typical maintenance, not necessarily beautification.
Can you point to where you see that?
Yeah, if you give me a minute, if somebody else has a
It's on
question.
page 19 as well, the
Is it?
first line. Yeah,
Okay,
I
thank
saw
you.
that too.
Yes.
Exterior site appearance work, including pressure washing, exterior painting, parking, striping, repair, repainting.
So if you look on the hard copy that I've given you of the eligible expenses, some of these items may require preparation in order to do that. So for example, a new stucco or stucco bands, I'm just throwing that as an example. So I can ask the applicant if they can explain exactly what that is. I believe, I did speak with them. They are here to answer these questions. But things of that nature that may be necessary in order to prepare the siding for the improvements that are eligible, that might be the reason why.
Member Moscoso, I believe, had the floor where you,
I have one more
all right,
question.
because I was just making sure, because I know Sarah jumped in there, so I want to make sure you had.
Thank you. And then has any of this work been complete? Because I feel like I read that we can't retroactively go back. I know I have seen some work on the property, but I don't know if that's covering what we're doing.
The only thing I've noticed on the property is, it looks like there was some kind of drape sign or something temporary, I believe, on the facade. I was not aware of that. I only noticed that driving by earlier today. I did speak with the applicant. They've indicated to me they have not made any improvements on the property. The grant does not allow retroactive payment of prior improvements. That's correct. So they will have to seek permits or do construction on this and then provide invoices to us for reimbursement.
But would the city go out, let's say we do approve this, the city would go out, let's say tomorrow, and look and see what has been done to make sure we're only covering, if we choose to move forward from this point forward?
Yeah, so we monitor this. So sometimes these grants take up to about 5 years to complete.
Yeah.
So we check and verify the invoices that are provided to us prior to reimbursement.
Thank you.
Member Sokol.
Yes, just for some other context, with these grants, we've discussed them in the past. We had one before that tried to get termite treatment, and we had to deny that one because, again, that's routine maintenance. And for me, reading this, some of this was hard because the intent behind the grants that we've talked about several times, especially when you're using taxpayer money, is to clean up blight, to make sure that if that business leaves, it's still applicable to the next business that comes in. And so I'm very cautious if we're approving things that are very specific to a business. So I'm used to like approving like a roof replacement, like stucco work, things that need to be, to bring it up so it's not blight. So that's my big issue that I'm having with this one.
Thank you very much. Member Nelson?
I agree with you. My big issue is the security, because it's not specifically covered. And given the state of our budget, I'm sort of reluctant to turn around and include that.
Vice Chair Cole.
Will we have an opportunity to look at the final product, such as the facade, to see what it's looking like? Because it's in such a central point in the city. I mean, it's kind of hard not to see. And it's been in disrepair for some time. So are we going to have any type of optics into what the end result is going to look like?
So the program is not designed to bring it back for the CRA for final approval or for follow-up. So you are being asked whether they qualify for this grant and that they can participate in the program on an administrative level. So currently the program does not ask us to bring it back at any particular stage. So, no, sir.
Yeah, I guess my problem is I don't want to spend $50,000 on something like that, and then when I go by, I'm still, I mean, I would suspect we can ask the applicant to let us see what the final product is going to look like, not that we have an opportunity to approve or disapprove it. I don't know how that works. It's just that it's right there, and it's such a central part of going into downtown, and I want it to look good, you know.
Thank
So,
you, Vice Chair.
Yeah.
Is the applicant here? Would you like to come up and say a few words? Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jasmine Johnson, and the address is 1220 Washington Avenue, Titusville, Florida.
You want to speak on why you're seeking this grant and what you're trying to do with it and convince the board?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I first want to thank you all for the opportunity, and the city has been very helpful with the permits that we have pulled and the completion of some of our interior work. So thank you, everyone, for that portion. I think it's important for one to talk about our company, Good Essence, and how we differ from traditional MMTCs. And sorry, I'm a bit nervous. We just got off the road. But when people come into our Clearwater location, they describe it as a big, warm hug. Our color palette, our SOPs, the way we've trained, the way we've hired, it's really indicative of hospitality. My background, I'm a graduate of FIU, born and raised Florida native, and my background is in hospitality. So one thing we saw missing in the space is that hospitality. What you see is kind of people being pushed through. There's no sense of connection, touch points. Well, if you look up our Eventbrite for our Clearwater store, you'll see sound bowl healing, yoga, stretching. We have Wisdom Wednesdays where we're reaching out to the community to educate. Education, relaxation, and returning to balance is what our company's mission is all about. There is several stigmas around the plant. It's called a lot of different names, but ideally we want to help increase the connection between external and internal balance. The reason cannabis is such an umbrella plant or wellness experience is because you can go from having anxiety or any other clinical issues, and cannabis can help to strengthen a better connection with yourself while you go through that experience. It's not necessarily the one cure-all, but it is something that helps balance the anxiety and the pressure, and just as we see the environment that we live in today, some of those things that help us to kind of cope with what's happening. And so in this space, the reason we picked Titusville is we did a lot of research in the community, and we saw the demographics of the community. We're not catering to 20-year-olds to even 30-year-olds. I'm 35. I just had twin boys 2 months ago. So also I haven't been out in the public in a minute, and I'm a new mommy, so a lot is happening. But I'm catering to people like myself, my mother, my grandmother. My parents are not consumers in the traditional sense. So getting them to take our real estate portfolio and take equity out of something my mom said we never touched because it's entrusted in our family. So it was a big deal for them to buy into. We've already put about $300,000 into the space. The things that we paused and are pending are the signage. We haven't pulled the permit for the signage, so right now, like you said, there's a drape sign. The parking lot striping. It's not necessarily building pressure washing, it's preparing the parking lot to be lined and striped. The electrical, we've had, our bid is to, the proposal includes removing the current poles that are on the property and replacing them with new LED lights so it can be very bright. Very bright. And just overall, you'll see for the security is a big point of the of safety, given the type of store that we're bringing. So you'll see the cameras, the door access points. These are things that the work has not started. I was very well informed of the stipulations of the grant, and so we made sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's, and more importantly, we welcome you to please come and check us out when we have our soft opening, when we get ready for our grand opening, what our soft opening looks like, because our soft opening for Jacksonville is happening on Saturday. It's a day of sound bowl healing. We use the parking lot to do yoga and stretches, and it's just an overall experience to get to know us, and we definitely extend that invitation to you all when the time comes. So I'm welcoming any questions and happy to be here. Thank you.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Vice Chair?
Yeah. I know you heard my question.
Yes, sir.
And you understand my concern about that facility. And I know it's not something you have to do, but it would be good if you could share what the facade of the facility is going to look like when you have completed it.
Absolutely. We have some pictures of for the interior, what it looks like before. As you all know, it was standing there for quite some time where it had the black and white tile, and it kind of gave that antique gas station look. So we've completely gutted out the interior, and now when you come inside, you can actually see what the branding has looked like. We had custom millwork put in. I missed the opportunity to do majority of that work on the interior grant, but in part it was because we wanted to get the project completed within 45 days. So one of the things that we still do need to do interior, but we'll save it for another day, is some of the ADA accessibility and security components. But otherwise, if you step into the store now, it's night and day. And I'm happy to set up something, because I'll be in town for the next few days, to come by and check out the site. We also have it on Lockbox, so it's accessible if you all wanted to set up something.
I'm more concerned about the exterior.
So the exterior, from what I understood, is as soon as the grant is approved, we're ready to begin the work. We like to open sooner than later, so it's just a matter of us going through the technicality here.
Okay, I mean, what is it going to look like?
So I have a mock-up rendering, and I can share of what the signage package was included, and that includes a mock-up rendering, if you want to share that one.
Maybe I can look at it later, because it's not a criteria for you getting the grant. So this is just a curiosity that I have.
Yes, but
Okay.
it is reflected on the signage permit set. They did put up the exterior, what it will look like. And this is not requesting the exterior paint. This is for where you saw the exterior request. It was for the parking lot particularly. So you would see right now what the exterior paint looks like. But the finishes, where you add the lighting and landscape, things like that, you don't see right now.
So you're going to make it look pretty?
Of course.
Okay.
I implore you to look at our website. You will see we're a lot different from, I don't want to name any of the others, but we're a lot different. The earth tone, warm tones, someone came in the other day and they're like, oh, this is for the soccer moms. And I was like, well, I'm a mom now, so I guess.
Member Carnes?
What's your plan to make it a little bit different, with your promoting this business, in that Titusville has this already kind of idea of what might be coming? So how are you going to change it to where it could direct it a little more towards moms, or who you're focusing on?
Well, that's been the entire mission of the company. We noticed when we entered the space, what you don't find when they do the soft opening events is it's more like food trucks and maybe giveaways of cup holders and things like that. Ours is completely wellness centered. So all of our programs are going to include sound bowl healing. They're going to include yoga. They include painting, like things that induce relaxation and wellness and well-being. So we start that. Jacksonville, as I say, the opening is soft opening is August 15th. We don't plan to have our grand opening to October. So we just do a series of using the space for wellness and well-being programs, and I haven't seen that done. We take the time when people do come to now explain the difference and the similarities of cannabis, marijuana, and hemp, how it's all one plant species, and how unfortunately the topic or the star is THC, high potency THC, but unfortunately, that's the one that also leads to paranoia. So if you're telling me that you're having inflammation, I don't think you should be consuming cannabis in a way with high potency THC. Let's try THCV, CBD, CBN. But unfortunately, that's the biggest misconception. And our company wants to be all cannabinoids, not just THC or CBD. There's 100 in between, and we're happy to teach people the difference and how to intelligently but also responsibly use cannabis. So that's a bit of a difference.
Seeing no other questions, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again so much.
City Clerk?
There's one card on this item, Stan Johnston.
My name is Stan Johnson. I'm not going to speak against this project, but I would like to share with you something that happened many years ago, in about 2010. That was our mayor, Jim Tully. Jim Tully, of course, was a member of the CRA, and he questioned that the city of Titusville should support businesses with money in this area. When in any area, and because well, he just said it was questionable whether we should do that at all. That's all I wanted to share with you. And I see that you're questioning this particular item very much, and I would like you to do the same thing when I come with items to discuss. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. No other cards, City Clerk?
There's no other cards.
Any further discussion from this board? I'll entertain a motion, whether it be to motion to approve, motion to not approve, motion to approve at X amount of dollars. It's the flavor of the board. Member Nelson.
Motion to approve the commercial beautification grant for 2020 South Washington Avenue.
1220. Second.
There's a motion by Member Nelson, a second by Vice Chair Cole. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, City Clerk, call the roll.
Member Carnes,
That's you.
I would say I would like to approve a certain amount, but maybe not the entire thing. I don't know what to say about that.
Okay, so then, based on the motion that was made
So I'd say
and the
no.
second, and because we're taking a vote, I would say no.
No.
Member Moscoso,
No.
Member Nelson,
Yes.
Chairman Connors,
No.
Vice Chair Cole,
Yes.
Member Mutter,
No.
Member Stokel,
No.
Motion fails. So, apologize, the grant was not approved. Do I need a motion to deny it, City Attorney?
The motion that was on the table was denied, right?
No, it was the motion was to approve, and it failed.
Right.
It was denied, right,
Yeah.
essentially, yes.
Unless I will entertain another motion if there was any other discussion being made by this board. Member, did you have anything you would like to suggest?
I would just say that I would just approve it based on none of the camera options, but I think anything from the outside that would make it look better, because obviously it's an eyesore, I would approve. So if we could take that out.
Just a suggestion for the board, if you look at the first two items, the PMP construction, the amount of $48,000, which is the exterior appearance work, including pressure washing, exterior painting, park striping, old fixture removal and signage, electrical circuits, and then the item right below that, exterior signage scope, including wall sign, pole sign improvements, LED conversion, electric permits, which I don't think permits are supposed to be in there, engineering seals, renderings, and installation. Those seem to be like the exterior things that we're focused on. Does that seem about right?
So if we made a motion for the first three items minus the permits, I think that would work.
All right, so,
That would be my motion.
all right, hold on. Let's get everybody get their say in before we start making motions. Member Carnes, did you have anything to add? We're on page 19.
No, I think that's it.
Because with item number 2 with the electrical permits, that's one of the questions that's kind of hung up is how much is the permits, engineering, seals, renderings, how much is a part of that? Because I think we as the board want to pay for construction, not for design work, engineering work, or permits. So if that's the case, then I would actually amend what my suggestion was is for the first one and for the third one, because that includes lighting.
Just to clarify, design is considered eligible. It's permits, it's what needs to be excluded.
I understand what the
Okay.
grant stuff is saying. I'm saying that flavor of the board seems to be more finished construction.
And may I inquire, Mayor, please?
Yes, City Attorney?
Inquire from Mr. Parrish if the grant is subjected to change in the way council is wanting to do that, or is it strictly construed where, as it pertains to the application of the grant?
I'm not aware of anything that would prohibit them from making changes to what, approving a partial approval, making a partial approval of what they're requesting.
Okay, thank you.
I serve on the TDC board at the county level, and there's always, the application and what the general recommendations are, but then eventually it goes through committee and then eventually to the Board of County Commissioners, and they kind of decide what works for them. So I'm assuming it's similar in terms of that, but I'm kind of looking at the $48,000 and the $8,727. Let me do some math. Give me a second.
So you're not looking at item 2.
I was, but then because of the engineering and the permits, I don't know how much of that is included in 19,000. So I would err on the side of caution and take that out. That would be my opinion. But half of that would be $28,363.50.
So my suggestion would be that we approve it and direct staff to take out the permits, because the rest of it is part of the grant.
We can do that.
And again, my suggestion was the engineering renderings as well. So that's kind of where I was. I'd rather pay for finished construction than plans, designs, and engineers. And just sitting on enough of these over the years, it seems like there's a lot of, we pay for the pre-stuff and we want to pay for finished construction. So, but Member Stokel, do you have anything? Member Mutter?
Yeah, I'm still having some issues with it when it comes especially to the signage, because I would venture to say that signage is going to be for that particular business. I look at things that can transfer over. So I would just go back to what I said when I typically approve these grants. It's more for the roof and infrastructure. I have a hard time with this, and I've said that at prior meetings, so I will be voting no.
What about parking?
That's
lighting.
including, the way it's worded on here, it's saying including pressure washing, which I have a huge issue with, which I know was stated that it was going to be to prep it, but exterior painting, parking striping,
It's kind of all bundled together.
yes. So again, if something was clear on, the roof, it's aging roof, it's a big eyesore, the intent from my perspective, again, is the blight, we need to clean up our downtown. That is why we set aside grant funds specifically for the downtown area to try to revitalize it. And I feel like we kind of balance sometimes on that line of we're starting to help certain businesses, and it's frustrating for me when we had flooding issues, but we can't go help somebody with their home. That's because that's their home, and we're kind of creeping into that. And I feel like this is creeping in for me. So again, facing what we're facing, and maybe we need to look at our grant process moving forward, which we have done in the past as well. But again, I'm just having a hard time with this one.
Member Moscoso?
Yeah, I would say, I think that a fair option would be, because there's a lot of things on here that Brad had said, everything here could be covered, but as we're looking at it, we're saying, actually, permitting is not covered, this is not covered. So it just makes me wonder what else might not be covered. So before we just pull out a number out of a hat, to be fair to the applicant and to us, maybe we go back and do a little bit more research so that we can figure out what exactly would be covered and come up, if the idea is to move forward, with an accurate number of what that would be.
So yeah, I was just thinking the things that applicable to every business, like lighting and asphalt paving. That kind of makes sense. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of need throughout our city, and unfortunately, there's just not enough money to go around. So I also think it's probably worthwhile that we dive through our CRA grant applications and that process. I think that'll be an appropriate time for us to look at all these things and see what we are trying to incentivize and what redevelopment looks like in our downtown community. And I'm sure Ms. Shiflow has plenty of ideas of what that will look like. And I look forward to having that discussion when we get there. But at this point, unless somebody's going to make a motion to approve or any different amount, the motion has currently failed. Member Nelson.
Maybe what we need to do is table this till the next meeting and get better numbers.
Well, at this point, the motion has failed. Maybe if the staff goes back and reworks it with the applicant and they want to bring it back before us in a different way, then I guess that would be fine at this point. City Attorney?
Yes, just to, which I mentioned to Brad, if council wants it to go back through staff and the applicant, if you want to give us some guidance, 5 or 6 categories that you're wanting us to consider, would probably be a little bit beneficial. Otherwise, if council is wanting to deny the application, which it has, then that's where it stands. But if you're wanting us to go back to the table, then give us some guidelines at some point as to what you'd be willing to fund or grant the funding off.
City Attorney, based on the conversation I've heard, is I think it's a non-starter, so I don't know if there's really much there in terms of guidance, just from what I'm seeing. I think the next available action would be bring these grant guidelines back before the CRA and let us look at them so that we can take a deep dive into that process. Everybody on this board good with that? I'm not hearing any objection. So currently the motion has failed. That item is now completed. Now we're on to petitions and requests from the public, non-agenda items for our CRA board meeting. Mr. Johnson.
I have 2 items. One item involves what's going on around in Titusville, and has been going around for many years. And that has to do with things like the KKK and other things that blacks have been treated unfairly. In this case is that I'm bringing up this case about Crosley Green, which actually it's went to the U.S. Supreme Court also, and was denied to be legislated there, or to look at it. But anyhow, I just offer a prayer for us to pray for Crosley Green for truth and justice, and that's what he needs, because he's been in there for many years. And from all the evidence that is presented in the newspaper is that he's clearly innocent. He couldn't drive a stick shift. He just many things. And we even had the dog, the famous dog that is a witness used by it's a fraudulent witness when the dog is a part of a trial, and he made false trackings a long time after the crime occurred. So that's one thing, so if anybody wants to send a letter to the parole board, it's freedom@justiceforgreen.com. I'll repeat that, freedom@justiceforgreen.com. The second thing I want to mention is an email that I sent to you, and the email says the same thing as this email says, email about the sewage spray in the city of Titusville. And in this case, the title of my email is Titusville is the illegal dam capital of the world. Many dams that are illegal. And that's a violation of your oath of office that Mrs. Cairns expressed today, and that is that to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. So the thing is that how in the world can somebody put an obstruction in the ditch, which is against City of Titusville law, and do it without flooding property? And they do. They contribute to flooding of property, these dams. So I wish you all to consider it, just like you did the last item on this agenda. And I offer anybody $100 if they can get a professional engineer to dispute what I'm saying. In other words, it's not right. These dams are illegal. The 2 dams at the senior center have contributed to the flooding, and they're taking private property. So the first person to get a PE to do it, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Shiflett?
Shiflett, the historic Norwood House. Since you last convened, I spent a week in historic Cocoa Village, launching a legacy with the preservation on Main Street, wearing 2 hats, one representing our Historic Preservation Board, looking into preservation things such as incentives on tax incentives for rehabbing older buildings. And I spent a lot of time going to Main Street events, looking forward to the launching of our Main Street Titusville program. And that covered sessions on serendipitous events and events we could co-host with the Chamber of Commerce and the Miracle Street Markets, et cetera. So the Main Street project, it ranged from revitalizing downtown to the tax historic incentives for historic structures. But my favorite session, Mayor Connors, I'd like to point out, was with Ruben Acosta of the Florida Department of State Bureau of Historic Preservation, who did Florida Modernists' innovative designs of the recent past. And he says, Florida possesses one of the best collections of mid-century modern architecture in the nation. Florida's modernist architecture embodies a spirit of experimentation, creativity, and a deep understanding of place. So I want to see that vision for Titusville. And then I spent the next week in a conference retreat area outside of Little Rock with my theater organization I've been a member of, and we were doing Roots Underground. So from launching into space to rediscovering and looking back at our roots as we fix to celebrate our 50th anniversary next year. It was a retreat of artist activists, artists who believe creativity is not separate from community, but born from it. It's an organization of visual and performance artists from the southern states and the Gulf states, all the way to Mexico. I participated in a vaudeville show with my old band, the Deluxe Vaudeville Orchestra, and the Mexican Carpa Theater. It was a great show. It was well attended and lots of fun. So these artists believe that we create beauty where there is despair. We speak truth to power. We tell stories that might otherwise be forgotten and make room for voices that refuse to be silenced. So 2 weeks, 2 conferences, one to maintain our history into the future, and one to produce that look in artsy ways. So thank you very much for your sponsorship.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shiflett. Anybody else? Sir?
Good evening. My name is Edwin Wells. I'm the president of Good Essence, the applicants for the grant for 1220 Washington. I just wanted to clarify and just see if the board could go on record. The denial, it seems to me, is more based on personal issues with what the grant current framework is and questions about if the grant framework should be reworked, not actually a denial based on the applicant's non-adherence to the grant framework or requirements. No, is there no comment?
No.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for petitions and requests in our first meeting? Seeing none, moving on to Executive Director's report.
Yes, sir. All items contained in the executive director's report are informational items only.
Any questions for the Executive Director? Seeing none, have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.